How's yours?
It's great now that I'm speaking with you all. I am so
Oh.
excited. Okay,
Love.
and so for my first question, it's for you, Charlie, because Skylar comes on to the scene, seemingly posing this sort of love triangle, if you will, for Dallas and Drayton. What do you think he represents for Dallas in terms of this sort of new life and journey that she's exploring in California?
Well, Dallas's character, dives deeper into herself inside of this story, and I think my character just really gets to, ask certain questions that help her reflect into where she's trying to go in life, which is a lot of. Would you say similarly, like Skylar just kind of has like he's pursuing his passion.
Sorry. I'm gonna give this a go and see if it
Like Austin Powers
continue.
there behind the town. Yeah,
No,
yeah.
it's here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I, I, oh, were you done? I'm sorry.
Yeah, but I think it's just it was really that like it pretty much just having to be somebody to help have the conversations to help her character move and you have that and we have two of those kinds of characters. You have a character
Hmm.
as well throughout the story that helps you ask inward questions to help your character develop forward and and yes, there's like a chemistry between the two of them. Skylar is so passionate about your character, and he would love something more. And do they? Will they? We don't know, but I haven't seen the movie. Have you?
Yes, I saw it. I watched
Yeah.
it earlier today,
Lucky.
and yeah, and I was just gonna say what I love about this film is that, in my opinion, in high school, it's all about proximity. Like these are your friends and maybe your lovers, because of like your proximity to one
Right.
another. But then when you get to college, you meet like your people, like people who are a little bit in alignment with your passions and your dreams and your goals. And I kind of see that with both Skylar and Charlotte. And so my next question is for you, Noah, because I spoke with Justin and he said the first film posed the question, who do you want to be? And then this one poses, where do you want to go? So if you had to answer that for Drayton, what would the answer be?
Hmm. Uh, hmm. I think that's a great question, and I think it's something that he asks himself as well throughout the whole film. I mean, that's our director.
Yeah.
He directed the thing for a reason, right? Like that does kind of sum up his mental battle throughout the film. But I love what you said about the proximity as well, because in a way, yeah, we like when you're in high school, you don't really get to choose who's in your 30-person class, whereas in college, you choose your major, you choose the electives you take, and you're a lot more selective with who you want around you. And I think there's something to that with like the where do you want to go? I think he's that that question alone kind of opens these doors for him, and he's got to really figure that out because obviously he wants to go pro, like he wants to go to the NFL,
Hmm.
and that's like his dream. But then when all of that is taken away, or it seems like it is due to an injury, it's like, well, now what? And like, how do we pivot? And how really, where do you want to go? Do you want to let this be a major setback, or do you want this to just be a little hiccup? And are we gonna like really focus in on this? But then how do you balance that with, oh, I also have my hometown, my
Yeah.
girlfriend of, yeah, so it's like, I think it's that never, at least in this film, it seems like it's never ending, that never ending question of where does he want to go? And I don't really think we get a solidified answer by the end, unfortunately, but
Yeah.
it leaves room for
For
number
more.
three. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And last but certainly not least for you, Sienna, speaking of endings, we're left with this sort of like cliffhanger or unanswered question by the end of this film. So, in an ideal world, what is next for Dallas? I know.
In an ideal
I'm
world,
sorry.
no, I
Good for
mean,
you.
I think I think I would hope for her that she keeps following, she keeps going with going with the flow of things and to stop fighting herself on all of the opportunities that keep coming up. I hope for her that she's able to lean into it with not with like not feeling so heartbroken because it didn't, can I say spoilers?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, because in a way, like it was an act of love at the end. Like it
Yeah.
wasn't a heartbreak, and it feels heartbreaking, but it wasn't. And I hope for her that she's able to continue finding herself without feeling any sort of resentment. Like there's just a sense of peace and like closing of a chapter, even if it is still on the table.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's so good. Well, thank y'all and congratulations on the sequel.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.
My first question is for you, Justin, because we see these sort of new love interests come in, if you will, for this sequel of Sideline. What was your intention in bringing characters like Skylar and Charlotte into Dre and Dallas's world?
So first and foremost, I always love to have these supporting characters be rich and full. Um, Oftentimes when we look into some of the older classic rom-coms, for comedic reasons, they could be very one-dimensional or kind of catty or vicious. But here I really wanted to present very good options for our leads. People who are just of a different world, or very similar world. And I think that's very real to all of us in day-to-day life that when you're presented with new friends and whatnot, when you meet people, there's all walks of life.
Mhm.
And what I really want to do with these characters is just present and challenge our protagonists and what they want in their life. So not just um, who they fall in love with, but really what they want. And you'll see a lot of the dialogue is not about this kind of like, cheating or backstabbing or
Mhm.
whatnot. It's really about almost always asking, is this what you want? We see Charlotte ask that question of Drayton. We see Skylar also ask that of Dallas. Like, is this really what you want? Right? And I think that it doesn't come from a place where they try to steal them away from a partner, but
Mm-mm.
really try to uplift them by asking, who do you want to be? And so that's been my approach to supporting characters is that I just want to present very good viable options as either friends or more and let either the audiences decide where they could go, but also ultimately come up with a very real response that our characters choose.
Yeah, I loved it because they were like not salacious, and I was like, oh, I would like to see what would happen with either of these.
Right.
And
Mhm.
so for you, Roan, how would you say a character like Charlotte lends a voice to like the new energy that comes with that sort of fresh start that comes with attending college?
Well, I think that she's very confronting. I think that she doesn't mince words and she's kind of like, she speaks, but she also speaks his language. She's a woman in sports. She is dealing with men and their egos and like all of this stuff. She also canonically has four brothers. So she's the only girl amongst a bunch of men. So I think that she's not afraid to level with the men in her life. And that includes Drayton, which I think is really important. And I think he also probably finds refreshing when a lot of his world is people fawning over him. It's like the person who will look you in the eye and be like, "You're not all you think you are," especially when you're acting like this or you're doing this. And so I think that yeah, I think it's really fun to come in and also play a contrast. Like, of course, I watched the first movie, and so I think I informed a lot of my choices um, in building the character on kind of playing off of who Dallas is. So if Dallas would be soft in this instance, I would go hard. Or if Dallas would say yes, I'd say no. You know, like that was kind of where my head was at because you do want to present that kind of that contrast and cause the character to be like, ooh, what do I need
Yes.
out of a I don't know, a partner, a friend, like who do I want to surround myself with? What is that? Yeah, what does that mean?
Yeah, and with both of you all speaking, I loved your answers because it just sparked something in me. Like, I feel like in high school, you're just like, it's more of a proximity thing. And
Yes,
then
Yes.
in
totally.
college, it's more of an alignment, like, oh, like
Yes,
Yes.
these are my people. And
Yes.
so,
absolutely.
yeah, and so really quickly, lastly, for both of you, because we're sort of left with that unanswered question or cliffhanger at the end, where would you like for you, Roan, where would you like to see Charlotte next? And then for you, Justin, where would you like to see all of these characters end up in the next installment?
Mhm.
I mean, I'd like to think that regardless of whether or not it's romantic, Charlotte plays a big role in Drayton's life because she sees him and
Mm,
she isn't afraid of him. And so I think that be that platonic or romantic, I'd like to think that she still exists in his world as some kind of close person to him, be that, what the screenwriting gods, will make it.
Yeah.
But I think that I think that I see her still being in his life and playing an important role in terms of guiding him through whatever successes or failures come next.
Yeah, and for me, I see less plot and more questions, right?
mm,
Because every film should have a central theme. In the first film about high school, it's where do I want to go? Right. That's question number one is where do I want to go? Second movie is really about who do I want to be? And then the third movie I would love to explore, if given the opportunity, is what do I become? And these are very different
mm,
questions because more concretely, let's just say, one thought I had in mind was, what if we did a time jump? What if 5 years from now, Drayton he's firmly in the NFL. He's already won a couple Super Bowls. He has some commercials, some major commercials. Um, and then Dallas, maybe she succeeded. Maybe she's a movie star, right? The real question then is, well, once you've achieved your dreams, what's next? Maybe
mm.
that can be found with the two of them as friends. Maybe they can find each other again. Who knows? But the question really is about uh, what are the new questions that they can both face separately and together? And I think that's to me where I would love to investigate moving forward.
Amazing. Well, thank y'all so much.
Thank
Have a
you.
good
Yeah, thank you so
one.
much.
Yeah, really appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Take care.
Okay.